I am an introvert. And I'm also a people leader. And leading a team as an introvert can prove to be a little challenging at times. And that's because people expect leaders to be extroverts. People expect leaders to be outspoken and to be loud. People expect leaders to speak a lot. People expect leaders to enjoy being the center of attention. People expect leaders to feel comfortable in large groups. But nevertheless, even though people expect leaders to have qualities that are usually typical for extroverts, introverts can be great leaders. Introverts are great creative thinkers. Introverts are very good at active listening. Introverts can be very steady in stressful situations. Introverts like me value deep personal relationships, which are good for leadership. We tend to be inclusive because we want all the other introverts to also be able to voice their opinions. And we like to share the spotlight with everyone. But nevertheless, even though we bring these great qualities to the table, it can still be challenging to be an introvert leader. And for that reason, I wanted to share some tips and tricks for introvert leaders or for anyone who's an introvert and who also aspires to be a leader. So first and foremost, I think it's really important for us introverts to respect our nature. We need time to think before we talk. So I think it's really important for us to sit and listen in meetings and not feel forced to jump into the conversation before we're ready to say anything. It's okay not to take all the room, and it's okay to lead from the back. My second tip is to be open about your personality. Be open about the fact that you are an introvert, because if people understand who you are and know what to expect from you, it will make your job way easier. My third tip is to ask a lot of questions. As I personally need a lot of time to think, I ask a lot of questions instead. And it turns out that I actually don't always need to have the answer, because if I ask the right question, my employees, my peers, my stakeholders might actually find the answer they were looking for simply by answering the question I was asking. So instead of spending a lot of time focusing on what I should say, I spend a lot more time focusing on the questions I should be asking. My fourth tip for introverts is to share the spotlight. As we don't like to be the center of attention, it's important to share the spotlight with our team. And this is a win-win for everyone because our team gets the visibility they deserve and we get to not be the center of attention. My fifth tip is to build downtime in your schedule so you have time to think and reflect. I personally block my calendar so I have time where I don't meet with anyone and I can think. In addition to this, I started doing something new this past year. I started to have lunch alone. I know it sounds rude and antisocial, but I actually discovered that if I had a really busy morning, if I had lunch alone, I had a lot more energy in the afternoon. But in order not to be perceived as rude or antisocial, I've also started telling people that I needed to have lunch alone because I needed time to think and recharge my batteries. And it turns out that most people are very understanding. And finally, my last tip, and probably the most important tip for any introvert: don't pretend you're an extrovert. I think it's important for everyone to respect who they are and their nature. And for us introverts, we shouldn't pretend we are extroverts. It is taxing, it is draining, and it can be very stressful to be more social than we really are. So just remember to be yourself, to be open about who you are, and to respect your nature. Whether you're an introvert or extrovert, build your leadership on your own qualities and capabilities. And don't underestimate how good you can be at leadership.